Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 625, Living My Nightmare. Hello, Big Chillians, and welcome back to the Big Chill Podcast. I'm Frank, joined as always with Eddie. Eddie, how's it going?
It seemed as if you were slightly unsure of who you were there for a second, just a little
No,
pause.
I'm good.
Well, I'm doing well. The real question is, how are you doing, Frank? Because, we've managed to go a while without this discussion, but...
Oh, I know it's coming. The LIV Golf Tour is back.
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Because it had become less relevant. We maybe even thought that the supposed merger or non-merger or however it was going to be classified between LIV and the PGA was going to see the end of LIV being a real talking point. And then one of golf's biggest stars, Rahm,
Number 2 right now.
went reigning Masters champion, fairly recent U.S. Open champion, one of the stars of the Ryder Cup. Arguably the biggest name in Europe, in European golf, probably. I mean, it's between him and Rory McIlroy, it's close.
And Victor Hovland.
But But Victor would never join LIV.
Oof. They don't, but maybe they allow you to smile more freely on the LIV Tour. No smile restrictions.
That smile, that's a $1 billion smile. Even LIV doesn't have enough money to bring Victor Hovland over. But yeah, Jon Rahm has joined LIV Golf, refusing to say exactly how much money he took, but there are estimates that he took around $550 to $600 million.
Oh, really? I thought it said 300 million.
No, estimates are that it's 450 million pounds.
Wow.
So that's like 560 something million dollars. Already it's obviously unclear, but he had definitely already turned down supposedly $400 million previously. So, it's difficult to imagine that he took less than he was originally offered.
Also gets like a share of his team, that he's starting a new team on the LIV Tour. And from the sounds of it, they're trying to poach some more good players to put on his team. So that could actually be pretty beneficial for him in the long run.
Well, he wants it to be a Spanish team. So, and he wants to build LIV Golf in Spain. He's acknowledged the fact that money was a motivating factor, but at the same time said that, his big focus is building kind of his name in the golfing world and golfing history, and that he hopes that this Spanish team will be his real golfing legacy, which I find kind of difficult to imagine. But
hey, you got to find some way to try and spin it.
Yeah, it's obviously, he was pretty outspoken in terms of not wanting to join LIV. Originally in 2022, he said money is great, but when my wife and I started talking about it, we were like, will our lifestyle change if I got $400 million? No, it will not change one bit. I could retire right now with what I've made and live a very happy life and not play golf again. So I've never really played the game of golf for monetary reasons. I play for the love of the game, and I want to play against the best in the world. I've always been interested in history and legacy, and right now the PGA Tour has that. I guess you could say there's an important part where he said, and right now the PGA Tour has that. That's maybe his sort of get out clause in that statement. He seemingly has never really been motivated by money. It came out when the PGA Tour arranged, sort of in response to LIV Golf, when they arranged for that additional bonus that they were paying to players for sort of non-golfing reasons, all of the sort of social media presence and
stuff. Yeah,
he was against that. He said he thought that money should be just added into prize funds, and purses, and so the players should be winning more money, not earning more money for different reasons. So if you're defending him, the only thing you could say is maybe he, along with a lot of other players, were pissed off with the fact that they turned down big chunks of money and, spoke out in defense of the PGA Tour, and then the PGA Tour went behind their backs and made an agreement with LIV Golf. And so maybe he thought, fuck it, then I'll get the money. Like if you guys are going to get the money, I'll get the money.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's because the PGA Tour is now second in the competition level compared to LIV, because I don't think Taylor Gooch, the defending LIV Tour champion, really strikes the fear in anybody's body. So I can't see it being that the better competition is there. So obviously it's a play on the money. But honestly, at this point, is the getting in bed with the Saudis really a criticism when the tour you're playing on has already gotten in bed with Saudis? So at this point, you're just trading one tour that's affiliated with them for another tour that's affiliated with them. So at the end of the day, either tour has got its controversial issues at that point.
Yeah.
So
I do think, because that's always been one of the arguments, right? Even from the very beginning, is that, look, there's Saudi money in everything at this point. They, are pumping money into basically every brand that you use. So, unless you're going to go and live in the woods somewhere, you've got some financial ties to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, they own the woods. They own the trees.
They probably do in some places. That's fine, but I do think there is a difference between, hey, the company I get money from, or who pays me or whatever, has taken investment from the PIF, is different to the PIF directly just wrote me a check. There's
a middleman.
From a moral standpoint, I do think it's different, and I think you could not convince me otherwise. I know I will be paid by companies who, at points over my career, where probably, they take some investment or do some deals with another company or a country that I would prefer probably not to work with. That's just the reality of the modern world. It would be very different for me to just actually take a salary, specifically from them. So, I do think it's different. But I guess if you're him, maybe he assumes that there's a December 31st deadline, right? It doesn't appear that there's much progress in terms of finalizing this merger or agreement between the PGA and LIV. Some of the speculation is that LIV has made this move to increase their strength at the table, because now they get to say, well, we've just stolen one of your biggest superstars, so let's make an agreement. I think this could have the opposite effect, because I think it could piss off some of the players. Like, I felt like most of the players were kind of coming around to this thing. Even the likes of Rory McIlroy, and obviously he stepped down from his position on the sort of players panel, whatever that is. I think this might get a few of them like, fuck guy.
So far, Rory's been not quiet, because he's had opinions on it, because obviously everyone's going to ask him, but he's seemed okay with it. And maybe that's because he knows this is a major Ryder Cup partner that he needs on his side, so he doesn't want to piss him off too much. But he hasn't been as against it as he was to previous players.
He said that. He said John Rahm has to play in the Ryder Cup. He's already said that in response to this. He said, whatever we got to do, we got to change now.
Look how quickly Rory's ethics and morals turn around when it comes to the fucking Ryder Cup.
I mean, in fairness, right, the U.S. had one LIV Golf player on their Ryder Cup team this year. So, I don't think actually there are any European players on the LIV Tour who could make a strong case for deserving to be on the Ryder Cup team. So it was pretty easy to leave them out this time around.
What about Cam Smith? Does he count?
He's Australian.
So he just can't play at all.
No, he can play in the President's Cup.
Yeah.
But no one gives a shit about the President's Cup. That's just to keep some Australians and some Asians happy, but no one really gives a fuck. And the U.S. just wins that by a landslide most years. But Yeah, no, it's disappointing because I like John Rahm, and I don't care enough about the world of golf to be like I no longer like him because he's now playing on the LIV Golf Tour. But I don't know. It's kind of nice sometimes to think your athletes have some moral compass. And one of the things I did like about John Rahm in general is he played a lot of DP World Tour events. He was, you know, committed to the idea of supporting European golf and turning up to a lot of events that players of his stature would not go to. And, you know, like if you compare him and Rory McIlroy, he was far more committed to the idea of continuing to play in Europe. And I mean, there's a good chance, I suppose, that the DP World Tour will allow John Rahm to, whatever sort of form this eventual merger takes, that maybe he'll play just as many European events. Maybe he'll play even more because he'll prefer to play the European events over the PGA Tour events because he won't need the money, right? So, and maybe he'd love turning up to some random European Tour event now and just absolutely dominating. But it's a little bit sad. The only argument I can ever understand for someone, I mean, he's won over $50 million in prize money already in his career. His endorsements must be through the roof on top of that. So we genuinely are talking about someone who should not be making decisions for financial reasons. Even when people love to talk about like it's generational wealth, he's already earned generational wealth.
But now he's earned more generational wealth. Yeah. He's doubled it.
He's allowed for his child or children
to have multiple mistresses,
to be complete fuck ups, and still not have it impact the family fortune. But the only argument, I suppose, is look, I can play less golf and I can spend more time with my family. I think that's the big thing. I still think it's misleading because I do think you get sucked into some commitments with the LIV Golf Tour that people never like to speak about. You know, like when you are going to have to randomly fly to Saudi Arabia and play some rounds of golf with some wealthy people because that's what you got to do. And no one really talks about that, but that's definitely involved in your contractual agreements with LIV Golf. You know,
but I'm sure that flight to Saudi is amazing.
His
flight to Saudi is probably better than any meal I have in an entire year.
Oh, well, yeah, there's no doubt about that, Frank. I mean, even they've shown, right, that LIV Golf plane.
Yeah,
it's like
the plane is insane.
Yeah. Look, it's a nice life. But again, he has a nice life already. And it will be interesting to see this December 31st deadline. It doesn't feel as if any progress has been made. When you hear the likes of Tiger Woods coming out and speaking about it, it doesn't seem like any progress has been made. Based on all of the speculation, it seems as if some other golfers might make the move between now and then. It's just John Rahm was the biggest of the names, but rumor has it there's some other pretty big names considering a similar departure. But yeah, it's,
what's it going to take for this LIV Golf Tour to just go away and stop haunting me?
The real question is, what would it take for me to actually give a shit about the LIV Golf Tour?
Hey, I go, so.
Yeah, this is true. They got you.
They got me. I go once a year.
I have watched it on a handful of occasions, only when it's being played in a place where there's kind of no other sport on and I'm interested in just watching something. And so it's like, oh, LIV Golf's going on. And if I can figure out how to watch it for free, because like their YouTube channel is sometimes free, sometimes not, and there's no way I'm paying to watch LIV Golf, then it works. But I don't know. You know, ultimately my big issue with LIV Golf is they're so smug and enthusiastic when you like watch their coverage of their own events. Because I think part of it, right, there's a kind of fake it until you make it mindset with LIV Golf.
Oh, for sure.
And I can't stand that. I can't tune in and have someone tell me how incredible this is.
What an amazing final day. Some unknown player you've never heard of has made a run for the leaderboard.
But it's also, they're consistently talking about record-setting LIV Golf achievements, which when you're a new competition... It's too soon to do that. I'm fine with someone saying that's the first hole-in-one in LIV Golf history. fine. But a lot of times you'll tune in and it'll be like, the greatest final round in LIV golf history. It's like, come on, guys. You've had 12 events. Like, this is ridiculous to start putting things in historical context. But anyway, that's probably enough LIV golf discussion for now.
Lowest score for the high flyers in history of their team.
But you need to prepare yourself, Frank, because I think between now and midway through January, we're going to have to talk about LIV golf a little bit more.
Does anyone really care?
Well,
it's all the same.
John Rahm's accountant probably really cares right now. Those are the winners, right? We have to give a little thought to some people surrounding John Rahm who just made a whole lot more money.
What a great early Christmas present they just got.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. John Rahm's caddy, I presume. I don't know exactly how that works with the LIV Golf switch. But yeah, I'm assuming he gets a nice little payday. There's a lot of people in his circle who, will be planning a few bigger Christmas presents as a result of his decision.
Speaking of golf, Eddie, I guess we can stay on the topic. I don't know if you saw the, I guess this would be the PGA Tour, is rolling back the golf balls in terms of like the density or whatever it is about the golf balls that makes them travel further. So they're rolling back, so they're cutting the distance because people are driving too far. So they're cutting it back. They said it'll cut back about, I think, 5%, anywhere from 5 to 10% of the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I give golf credit for the fact that they have very actively thought about how technology can impact their sport, which everyone would say, well, it's obvious, but a lot of other sports don't. There's the big discussion, like tennis, for example, has just allowed tennis rackets to improve in a way that, tennis players can do things nowadays that, John McEnroe could not have dreamt of. And that's
I recently listened to a podcast on McEnroe, and he talked about this at length for like 5 or 10 minutes. He was the last one to play with a wooden racket. Yeah.
And it's not
the last one to win a major.
It's not a talent thing, right? So, it's interesting. Golf at least has, they have more reason to do it because obviously it changes the way you sort of approach a course, and ultimately they can only make courses so long. Like they can't just keep making courses longer and longer. But so they have more incentive, but they deserve credit for tackling that more head on. Malcolm Gladwell was also recently on the Bill Simmons podcast talking about this because he was talking about the running shoes, the kind of super shoes that people can have now where it sort of gives you extra spring and makes you faster. Now I'm not the biggest Malcolm Gladwell fan. He kind of thought that this was unique. The biggest example in a sense, right, of a sport turning its back on technology was swimming with those shark suits.
Oh my God.
Remember Sydney?
Remember that year and a half?
Yes. Sydney Olympics. Everyone was wearing those shark suits. Same in the running actually too, right? They were wearing those full body suits. Like
but they still wear them a little bit.
Yeah, but not the full. They were going the full thing. Was it Kathy Freeman, the Australian runner who won the 400, maybe it was, in the Sydney Olympics? But yeah, it's I like it. The interesting thing too, right, is that as an amateur golfer, no one will pay attention to this. That's what.
But it will affect them.
It will affect them, but still, ultimately, you can play with a golf ball as an amateur that a professional cannot play with, right? And that's what I love. It's the idea that you'd be like, well, no, I'm going to take the extra yards.
But if they're buying like Titleist Pro balls, they are going to be getting a ball that the week before was hitting 5 to 10% further.
Oh, there are golf psychos out there right now who are just stocking up,
hoarding up on those.
Yeah, like, oh, guys, I just spent like $12,000 on golf.
It's like
balls.
The pandemic, and it's
yes, it's toilet paper.
Yeah,
this is toilet paper for golfers, but it's interesting. Now, Rory McIlroy has been outspoken talking about it in recent weeks because he's been saying he's cut length out of his game because he's decided that actually it doesn't have the impact on his sort of scoring outcomes that a lot of people think it does.
He tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah, he's cut his driving distances by 20 to 30 yards, he said, on average. So I guess he won't care about the balls, but some other DeChambeau is going to be furious.
Well, but everyone's getting impacted, so he'll still be the longest drive, but it'll just be 20 yards shorter.
Right, but for a guy who's sort of shaped his game, right, about the idea of, well, I can drive the green here, and that's going to be, like, I can be less accurate, but the distance makes up for the lack of accuracy. Yeah. Now he gets put into, that 5% drop-off might actually impact his ability to reach greens or take on holes. Now, I guess LIV Golf might reverse it, right? LIV Golf might give all these guys super balls so that DeChambeau's driving at 900 yards.
DeChambeau's got super balls, all right.
So that might be the LIV Golf move.
You know who this won't affect? People with great iron play, like Victor Hovland.
And that smile. You can give Victor Hovland any ball in the world, and he'll keep that smile on his face.
As long as there's heavy metal in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the unassuming metalhead that he is. But yeah. Anyway, that's probably enough golf talk for us. If you're a new listener and you've tuned in and you've thought, "Wow, this is the golfing podcast I've always wanted to listen to," you're going to be very disappointed. You're going to be very disappointed with the next episode. And if you're a new listener and thought, "I don't want to listen to golf talk," don't worry. Next episode you won't.
Yeah. Don't worry, because we can switch into the Premier League, and I can ask Eddie the question I've been wanting to ask now for 2 days.
Okay.
Is it time for City to be worried?
No. I mean, really, we've seen them in this position in seasons past, right? So this is nothing.
So right now, I'll just break it down. So right now, 15 matches in, Arsenal sit atop the table with 36 points. Liverpool second, 34. Aston Villa 32, and Man City sit at 30. So 6 points back of first place, which is currently Arsenal. And I will just remind our listeners, I went back to last year and looked 15 games played in. Mm-hmm. So right now, City are 6 back. Last year, City were 5 points back of Arsenal. The only difference I would say, slight difference, is that there was no one else in between them. And I honestly think that Liverpool only being 2 points back of first might actually be a bigger worry at the end of the year than Arsenal.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, look, I don't think they'll be unconcerned, and I think you can see that, right? Pep Guardiola's kind of going through that process when in the press. You can see he's a little bit stressed. I mean, he claimed this week that they would win the title. He kind of
what a move.
Yeah, he responded to some of the leading pundits in the UK, likes of Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher and stuff. Gary Neville said that Manchester City looked complacent. Pep Guardiola responded to that saying Gary Neville doesn't really know what he's talking about because he never won the Premier League 4 times in a row, and that's what Manchester City were going to do. And that Jamie Carragher really didn't know what he's talking about because he never won the Premier League. So, he's definitely, you can tell he's a little bit riled up and probably is trying to get his team out of a little bit of a funk. At the same time, right, you do have to consider, yes, they've dropped points in recent weeks, but they have played Chelsea away, Liverpool home, City home, Aston Villa away, in a row. And I guess we could throw in, not that long ago, although they won 3-0, also played United away. So they've played most of the top 7 in the past 5 weeks, and they've lost it once.
Yeah, and then let me break down. So this is going up until end of the calendar year. I'll include the January 1st matches as well, but City have less left for this year. Crystal Palace, Luton, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Everton, Sheffield United, and that's it. So pretty doable.
Yeah, you'd expect them to win all of their remaining matches this calendar year, which probably, if they do that, the gap will probably be a little bit smaller. So, we're probably looking into a situation where January 1st, let's say they're 3 points off top, something like that. And
whereas Liverpool, Crystal Palace, United, West Ham, Arsenal, Burnley, Newcastle. Much tougher schedule.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and obviously you have the advantage. If you're City, you look at that and you say, well, two of the teams above us have to play each other, so no matter what, some points have to be dropped. Yeah. The thing is, right, I mean, I still feel very confident that City will win the league. Part of it is obviously based on the fact, and we've spoken about it at length previously, is you just have that belief in them that come, when they get to the final 10 matches of the season, they'll just reel off 10 consecutive wins. And that's pretty difficult to keep up with. There is going to be a season where they don't do that, right? That's not usually like prior to Liverpool and City kind of having those periods of dominance. That is not how the Premier League works. You didn't just, pencil in 30 points from your final 10 matches. And there will be a time when City will slip up in the final few matches, and it might cost them. So, and if you were being, I guess I would say, compared to, say, last year, the difference is this time around, I think you can actually see real issues in this City team in a way that I didn't see this time last year. Last year, it just felt like they were sort of, making mistakes or dropping points. And I would be concerned if I'm City, just the number of goals they're conceding. That would be my biggest worry because, and we spoke about it obviously on the back of the Spurs match, they're not necessarily playing in matches where the other team should be scoring as many goals as they are. So if you're Pep Guardiola and you want to be confident, you'd say, look, over the course of the season, that will even itself out and we're due some clean sheets and kind of luck has to stop going against us to a certain degree. Like not every shot on target can go in when the team against us is shooting. But it's concerning to see,
that Aston Villa match was concerning.
Yeah, they were outplayed.
Properly outshot.
Yes.
And played.
Which is the difference you look at the difference between all of those other matches that they play. They should have beaten City. They should have beaten City. They should have beaten Spurs. They should have beaten Chelsea. They should have beaten Liverpool. So you look at the other points they've dropped in recent weeks. They should have won all those matches. So how do you feel on the back of that? Because you could tell me then, okay, Aston Villa outplayed them and deserved to win. In another, universe, City won those 3 matches in a row and then lost to Aston Villa and they're top of the table anyway. And what's the big concern? But, combining being outplayed by Aston Villa, who are a good team, but not a great team, with the number of goals they're conceding. Like in years past, there were moments, you would have said previously, with City, there were times they just took the lead and you thought that's game over. Okay, 1-0 City, job done, because they probably won't concede, but they'll definitely score again.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't have that feeling of invincibility about them. And I guess we have to throw in too, they also, they conceded goals in the Champions League. They came back from 2-0 down against Leipzig a week ago, or whenever that was. So they've shown they've had issues in many, many matches, but I don't know. I wouldn't bet my house on City winning the Premier League, but I'd still be fairly confident that they will.
Well, they are currently now even money. So 1-1 to be league winners. Arsenal are 5-2, and Liverpool are, would that be 9-3? Not that that's a relevant one. Plus 333 is what it is in the States.
Yeah,
they're a little over 3-1.
Yeah. I think even money is probably fair. Look, we'll get to the end of the season. I think everyone would have said, why in the beginning of December didn't I just bet on City to win the league when I could have doubled my money? Like, how stupid was I? Yeah. I think right now you could do like a double of Bayern Munich and City to both win their leagues, and you'd get sort of 1.25, 1.3 returns on, and
1-4 are Bayern right now.
Yeah,
Bayern.
So yeah, you're looking at a double that beginning of the season would have been way odds on, that now you can get 125% returns on what you bet, and you'd say that was pretty good value. But they definitely don't look invincible. I mean, look, there was a moment in this season, right, when I thought maybe they wouldn't lose a match, and that's definitely not only has it not happened, they haven't looked like a team that wouldn't
They've
lose a
sucked
match.
since you said that, actually.
Suck might be strong, but they faltered. I will agree with that.
Yeah, and actually, when you were discussing that, I think one of the players that we were very high on was Alvarez, and he's kind of gone quiet since then.
Yeah,
I think he's had one goal in the last 6 matches.
I mean, he hasn't played quite as much. Some of these players, I mean, like Doku has come into the side, right, and had a pretty much an instant impact, and that's affected how much some of these other players have played because of the shape that they've then used, and also, like Grealish has missed out to Doku, for example. But yeah, no, there's been some players. Well, I mean, we said, right, on the back of the Kevin De Bruyne injury that some players were really going to have to step up and fill that void. And they did it first, and now it feels like they're missing Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah. Both probably from a leadership perspective on the pitch, and then also just the creativity he brings in terms of unlocking teams.
And I think it's just it's also, to me, when I watch City now, it's like when De Bruyne was out there, it was constant pressure and constant chances. Like, he was just creating chance after chance. And, Phil Foden is a phenomenal player, and he can make great opportunities and great chances. But it doesn't seem anywhere near as the rate and the consistency which De Bruyne does it. Like, you watch a match, and it's like every minute, almost, he's got the ball, and boom, they're off and they're running. And Foden will get the ball and he'll make some spectacular plays, or Grealish too, but it's not at that level of consistency. They're just not that good for the entirety of the match like he is.
I think, too, from an opposition standpoint, right, it really changes the challenge that you're facing. Right now with City, you've got a lot of very skillful players. When you're up against Foden, Grealish, and that type, you're going to be challenged by their movement and their ability to get past someone, and obviously the style in which City play, but still it's more the focus is there. With Kevin De Bruyne, you're facing the possibility that he plays a pass from the halfway line that completely splits your defense, and Haaland's through on one-on-one on goal, and you didn't even really see the threat that De Bruyne has suddenly exposed. And that's the difference, and it's tough. I mean, Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne are not the same type of player, and Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best central midfielders in the world, one of the best central midfielders from the last couple of decades. So, to expect someone to come in and replace him is difficult. But yeah, I mean, when he comes back, I mean, I think the person who probably wants him back the most right now is Haaland, right? Who's not exactly, goals have not dried up for Haaland, but by Erling Haaland standards, goals have dried up for him. I mean, I think the Spurs match, I think the statistic was, it was only the second time in his career he had 5 or more attempts and not had a single shot on target. He did it once for Dortmund. He'd never done it for City before. So, and he missed a couple of very good chances against Spurs. So that was a rare outing for him. And I guess, look, that's the thing you'd also say. Is he missing Kevin De Bruyne, or was he missing basically an open goal at one point against Spurs that, the game probably is different if he puts that in. It's always one of those things, right? We're very outcome based in terms of how we, like, this is a slight crisis at City, but then again, as I just said, they could have won all those 3 matches in a row had the ball bounced slightly differently at different moments in time. Like, if Chelsea hadn't had a last minute penalty, if Spurs hadn't found a last minute equalizer, you kind of have all these things where, like, in a different world, City are unstoppable. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's good for the Premier League. We want, I say it every time, especially as a neutral. You want a nice.
That's what I was just going to say. As a neutral fan, I think I prefer this because, one, it gives me something to talk about, week in and week out, but also because it does make the matches more exciting. Because now, I mean, there are times, right, when City's just so dominant, you tune in to watch City for 15 minutes and you're like, oh, 2-0, they got it, who cares?
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh man, they need a win here, and when they get into those matches where it's the 75th minute and they still haven't scored yet, you can almost see the pressure building on them a little bit because they're not in that position where they're up 12 points or anything. So it makes it way more enjoyable as a fan.
Oh, I think too, right? Like even this match this weekend against Luton, which under a few weeks ago would have just been okay. City are going to win. I probably don't even need to watch this. City are winning by 3 or 4 goals. No worries. Now, okay, I still expect City to win against Luton, but it's now kind of you have to pay attention to it and watch it because if they are level with 20 minutes to go, or if Luton do somehow score first, at what point do City start to get nervous or even doubt themselves, especially when you're looking at them having conceded late goals from winning positions a lot? How confident are they in the final 5 minutes when they're only leading by a goal? There has to be some impact of what's happened in recent weeks.
And Eddie, most importantly, I mean, they're away to Luton. I don't know if you've seen that stadium, but oh boy, that's a tough one for the away fans, Eddie. Have you seen how they have to get into the stadium to get to their seats? Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it anywhere else. But yeah. But interesting. And I think the other Premier League thing we have to say, right? Obviously, I had a somewhat tongue-in-cheek prediction that Erik ten Hag would be out of a job on Halloween. And to be honest with you, he looked like on Halloween he should have been out of a job.
He said, not so fast.
And all of a sudden, suddenly United, the season doesn't look lost. They're sitting 6th. They're tied with Spurs. So let's say they kind of sort of 5th. They're just 6th on goal difference. They're only 3 points behind City. If you told any Manchester United fan that they were going to be 3 points behind Manchester City after 15 games played, I think they would have, signed up for that deal every day of the week. So, they are 9 points off the title. I don't think you can start to put them into the title race. But, it's certainly now they'll probably start to feel like definitely the Champions League is on. You have Spurs sort of in free fall. And then, can Villa maintain this for another 21 matches? I think if you're United, if we draw some parallels to like a horse race, this starts to feel like, you're sort of starting to get into a little bit of a cruise, sitting on the the heels of a horse in front, and you're gonna start to get a little bit of confidence if they're eyeing up Villa and they feel like they could go by them in the straight, I think.
But hopefully they have a jockey who realizes that there's not enough in the tank on this horse to get to first on the finish line, but to just get in the place, get in the placings. Listen, you got 20 runners, top 4 place. All you got to do is finish in the top 4.
If they've got Ryan Moore on board, this horse is going to be eased up and Manchester United are going to be relegated. But if they have, Andrea Adzeni on board, then they'll finish 3rd. Yeah. But
you spoke of a tale of two ends here. We spoke a few weeks ago about Harry Kane, and if Spurs were to continue the run that they had been on and been in major title contention, would he be a little upset, jealous, disappointed in himself? Right now, I don't think Harry Kane has much to worry about because while United have 12 from their last 5, Spurs have 1 from their last 5, and they are in an absolute free fall.
But that one was against City, Frank.
It was big fucking whoop.
But yeah, no, they are struggling.
Let's forget that match exists.
And, look, the other team too, right, who we also have to consider, like Newcastle are showing some degrees of inconsistency. Obviously, they lost 3-0 to Everton, which is an extremely surprising result. Somehow, Everton might be able to survive a 10-point deduction. It's a possibility. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it really is. We are looking at a very realistic possibility that pretty much every significant race within the Premier League, title race, top 4, top 6, 7, bottom 3, all of those races look like they could be very close and really come down to the wire. And, as we just said, as a neutral, that's the thing you really hope for. I think there'll be some really compelling storylines as the season draws on. All right. Now, maybe let's switch to a topic that I know will make you more happy.
Oh.
After the disappointment of the LIV Golf, let's talk about how the Pittsburgh Steelers lost on Thursday Night Football.
You know what, Eddie? Can you cue up the soundbite that I want to hear?
Okay. I'll cue it. Do you want it right now, or do you want to let me know when you want it?
Give it to me right now.
But they are who we thought they were.
That's right. They fucking suck. That team is trash. I've been saying it for 4 years now. But no, and in all seriousness, that was absolutely pathetic. It was pathetic, one, that you let Zappy go wild in the first half and have 3 touchdown passes on supposedly a very good defense that I don't think is as good as people think it is. And then in the second half, to have the Patriots kind of say, oh shit, we might win this game. We gotta slow down here, make sure we lose because we're really screwing our draft pick. And the Steelers still couldn't come back and win that game. It's pathetic. I mean, and I love what I really enjoy is dumb fans who, when Matt Canada was fired, that was it. Oh my God! Finally we can unleash the Steelers offense. Matt Canada's fired. Thank God. This is what's been holding us back. And since then, their offense, you know what it's done? Shit. It still sucks because they're just not that good of a team. There's nothing around it. They have some okay players, but they have major issues with like the personalities on that team. I don't know if you saw George Pickens, who this week, 3 weeks ago, was Deontay Johnson, just giving up on plays, not even playing half the game. Like, that's a major issue. And that goes on Tomlin, who's supposedly the best coach in the NFL. Like, I don't understand why no one gives him any criticism for this is 2 years in a row now. We've seen his players literally just give up on plays and in games. And it never comes back to him. Never. Never.
You're such a Steelers hater. The most consistent team in the NFL. A head coach who's never finished under 500.
So what?
And yet you're there being like, why doesn't he get more criticism? Why doesn't he get more hate? I mean, look, there's some bad looks for this Steelers team. I agree with you. I've never thought they were good. The real question, the
answer is no. They're out.
No, that isn't actually my question. The question I was not going to say, are they making the playoffs? But I still think they could. The real question is, do they finish over 500? So they're 7-6. They've got 4 remaining games.
Yeah.
So they need to win 2 to maintain this kind of both pointless record, but also somewhat significant record, right?
Go ahead, give me the remaining. Give it to me.
They are home against the Colts.
Loss.
They are away. Let me check. Actually, is that? I'm just checking because sometimes I get confused when I say home. That was at the Patriots, right? Last night. I'm trying to remember.
No, it was at Pittsburgh.
Home. Okay, so they've reversed it here. So they are. I take that back. They are at the Colts.
Oh, loss.
They are. They're home for the Bengals.
Jake Browning, loss.
Oh, no, come on.
All right, I'll give them 1 win out of those 2 games.
And then they are at the Seahawks.
Loss. Seahawks need a win.
The final game of the season, and this is going to be the interesting one. I think this ultimately comes down to, does this team need to win? And they are at Baltimore. Now, that could be a situation where Baltimore don't have anything to play for.
I think they might, though, because it's pretty tight. They might have to play for the number 1 seed.
They might do, but they might not. I would think they would because, you've got the Dolphins. They have the same record as the Dolphins right now.
Chiefs are game back.
Well, here's the thing is, I actually don't think they will have anything to play for.
Because and the Jags, too.
But the Ravens are playing the Jags next. The Ravens are playing the Jags in 2 weeks. Then the Ravens are playing the 49ers. And then the Ravens are playing the Dolphins. And so to be perfectly honest, like either things have gone really well for the Ravens in that time, in which case they probably have nothing to play for, or things have gone badly for them, and so then they're locked into the 2 seed or the 3 seed.
But the difference, I mean, like it's a moot point because even the second string Ravens team could beat the Steelers.
Okay. Okay, I want you to commit right now that if the Ravens are resting everybody in week 18, that he will just be piling onto them. And I don't want against the spread. I don't want to be, well, they're 12-point underdogs. I want money line just all in. That's the commitment I want right now.
Done.
Okay. But yeah, it's interesting. And that they'll kick themselves, right, when you're the Steelers, because, yeah, that's a game you absolutely cannot lose to a team that you're right, definitely in the second half, kind of wanted to lose that game. And had they won that, I think they would have stayed in a fairly good position for the playoffs, and definitely, obviously, for that over 500 would have been pretty much probably locked in, because you would say just win one more game and you get to keep this record. But yeah, I think things are tough for them. But you never know. I'm still not going to rule out their playoff hopes, because I don't know what to think about this Colts team. So you can't tell me that they don't beat the Colts and the Bengals in back-to-back weeks. And if they achieve that, then they could, depending on how things play out elsewhere, be back in a very.
I still just don't know how the hell they beat the Ravens that week. What was that, like week 3 or 4?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is an NFL season with more weird results than usual. You know, we've spoken about it in previous seasons where we always go, this is the result that when we get to the end of the year, we'll get there and be like, how did that happen? It will make no sense once all of the games have been played. I feel like we've said that now 6 or 7 times about this season. Yeah. Where it's going to be like, how did the Bears beat them? How did the Cardinals beat them? Like, there's going to be a handful of really weird results.
I love, though, how the NFL said, oh, damn, we have a shitty Monday night game. Let's double down and give 2 shitty Monday night games to even out the games. That's a great move by the NFL. I don't know why there's 2 Monday night games. It makes no sense to me. I don't get it.
All right, Bill Simmons.
No, but it's not as if like Tuesday's a holiday or anything. So I don't get why.
People just love more football, right?
But they're at the same time.
We spoke about this earlier in the season when they were committed to where they were the back-to-back double Monday night. I just hate that exact reason, that there's overlap, and so they're not actually giving you more football. That kills me. Just play one of the games earlier, like actually play it earlier. I don't understand why you can't have it kick off 90 minutes earlier than it is. And I know they'll say, like, well, people have work. If people really want to go to the game, they'll find a way to, like, get off work early. Or they just can't go to the game and they got to sell their tickets. And someone who doesn't work Monday after 4 o'clock or whatever is going to buy the ticket. Like, NFL games sell out, right?
The real question here is, can Red Zone be active then on Monday if there's 2 games going on at the same time? Or are they only contracted to be on Sundays?
When would the witching hour be?
A Monday night witching hour? Oh boy. Scott Hansen will go wild over that.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
But I guess you can't complain because you have a great Sunday night game. So, in Eagles Cowboys.
Yeah, and some decent games overall this weekend.
Bills Chiefs.
Yeah,
that's kind of almost a must win for both teams there.
Yeah, it's an interesting weekend. We said it like 2 episodes ago. We started to feel like we knew who were the real contenders in both the AFC and the NFC, and this week will make that even clearer. Certainly in terms of those sort of tiers. And the Chiefs, the Chiefs are starting to look. I'm happy. I'm I've been doubting the Chiefs all season. I worry that this is a little bit like Manchester City, where they can look vulnerable in the regular season, and come the playoffs they'll figure themselves out. But I really do not want to see another Super Bowl that involves the Kansas City Chiefs, particularly with the endless Taylor Swift storylines.
You're such a hater.
I'm not a hater.
At this point, you know what? Actually, the past few weeks, it's more the Kelsey talk that's bothering me. Because it's slightly shifted now to being like everything about Travis Kelsey. Because apparently Taylor Swift fans want to know more about Kelsey. So like every article I see is this dumb fucking thing about like, did you know Travis Kelsey once ate 14 Big Macs in one sitting? Like, I don't give a shit, man. But for it's amazing how much he's getting out of this. Like, their podcast is now like through the roof because of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was doing extremely well anyway. I never know podcast numbers. Right.
But the difference is like, yes, it was doing well, but it wasn't like they weren't taking snippets from the podcast and putting it into article headlines. Now it's like every time they release a podcast, it'll be like the next day it'll be like, here's what Kelsey said about so and so or blah blah blah.
Can I just say, you often question which Instagram reels I'm fed. We know your history of the news sites and the websites you're reading. I have yet to see any articles where it takes New Heights clips and puts them in them, but maybe on Yahoo News or BuzzFeed.
All right, buddy.
It does that.
At least I'm not watching risque cooking videos.
Well, if it's a choice between an article about how many Big Macs Travis Kelsey ate and a girl, unzipping a little bit too much of her shirt while she makes an omelet, I think I'll take the omelet every time.
I'll take the Big Mac, so I think I could beat it. I like the challenge.
You think you could eat more than the number was 14?
No, I don't know. I just made that story up. It's not an accurate story.
How many Big Macs do you think you could eat in an hour?
A lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean they're deceivingly not that filling. It just looks filling because it's like tall,
and
but there's really not much meat in it.
You'll feel awful afterwards.
Yeah. I have to. I'm not just eating a lot and saying like I'm going to feel great about it.
No, yeah. I mean that's any eating challenge.
I could eat 10.
You think in an hour?
Yeah.
No way.
I could eat 10.
No way.
These are the challenges I would never do though, because it would be a disaster for the next 5 days of my life.
I think 5 days is extreme. I think it would be a disaster for the next 24 hours. And by disaster, I actually mean, I just think in general you would just feel bad.
Yeah, I'd feel
not the
crappy.
stomach. People will always be like, "Oh, your stomach."
I'd be like lethargic. I'd be like, I have a headache probably.
It's just like the McDonald's impact on like how you actually feel. Like that would be the killer more than anything else. But yeah, I don't know. When I was in high school and we went on a football trip, we were in a train station and.
Like where the story's going.
What?
So like where it's going. What's next?
And the challenge was, I think we had like 90 minutes. It was something like that. And we all went to Burger King. And then it was I think I may have even spoken about this on the podcast maybe previously. But the challenge was you had to eat a full Whopper meal. You had to eat the whole thing. And then it was how many meals could you eat?
Drink included?
Drink and fries included. You had to do it all before you could move on to the next one. And I think one guy got through 6 meals in 90 minutes, which was pretty impressive.
Wow, that is impressive.
I ate 2, and that was like, I'm okay now. Like but one guy just plowed through it.
You know what I still can't get out of my head? I don't know if you ever seen the clip. It was someone was talking about when DeMar Hamlin had the injury on the field, and they had like went to the.
Eddie?
Yes, maybe we think if it was him, someone who looked like DeMar Hamlin. It was like obviously like real somber and serious.
Is that the conspiracy? I think the conspiracy is that he died, right? And then now this is not DeMar Hamlin.
Well, I'm throwing a back-end conspiracy. DeMar Hamlin died a long time ago.
Just to finish this. and they had to just to finish, you can keep the story going. But for those people who believe that conspiracy theory, when he was like pictured in the box with like sunglasses on and you couldn't really see him properly, now that he's back playing in the NFL, what is that theory?
Oh, it's just another guy.
It's just another
They just picked another guy off the practice field
who looks exactly
like him.
Okay, and he's just committed to being Damar Hamlin. They're like, look, this is your only chance to play. You're never going to make it to the show unless you pretend to be Damar Hamlin, who died from a vaccine. So,
and guess what? You make minimum wage. It's still good, but you're never making more than minimum wage.
We're not even paying you.
Special teams are.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead.
But when that happened, there's like this clip of the guy there's like a guy reviewing the video footage, and it's like, I can't remember who was announcing the game, but they're like, oh, like, you know, like, we're still waiting, blah, blah, blah. This obviously doesn't look good. This looks really bad. Here comes the ambulance. Everyone's super concerned. We're just going to stay here and we'll go. And then the next thing you hear is, Whopper, Whopper, chicken Whopper. It's so good. And I can never get it out of my head now. That stupid Whopper, Whopper, chicken Whopper. It's such a good clip when you go back and watch it. It's like so distasteful.
Well, now that he's survived, yes, it's a good clip. It would have been less of a good clip had he actually gone up to die. But no. Yeah. Obviously we spoke about college football last podcast. I don't know if you saw, but Ron DeSantis says that
just skip it. Just please skip it. I can't deal with these idiots. I cannot deal with these idiots. I don't know what Ron DeSantis thinks he has the right to like make decisions on the fucking college football committee. Did you see? It was even worse than that, because then the next 2 days later they were talking about it in I think it was the House of Reps.
I mean, these are the important topics that politicians need to focus on.
And then Tuberville stepped in and said, if anyone has a reason to discuss this, it's clearly me. Because his team, when he was coaching, Auburn went 13-0 and didn't make it to the national title game. So he's like, if anyone has a foot to stand on, it's me. And I don't think there was any atrocity, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why the fuck do you guys are talking about this? Who cares?
I mean, look, America's perfect other than that. And so
that's all we got.
This is what the politicians have to focus on, you know. There's not an opioid crisis.
Yeah.
You know, there's no major pressing issues that
the representative from Florida wanted to get every piece of documentation and footage and phone calls and text messages from every committee member for the week before, the week of, and the day of deciding. Because that's what he's going to spend his entire term doing, is combing through that data to see if there's some ultimate conspiracy and egregious atrocity to Florida.
The thing I love about that is that's a greater level of detail and attention than we would pay if it were an actual legitimate political scandal. Like, that's probably more than Trump had to go through as part of his whole trials. And yet DeSantis feels like that's what the kind of level of scrutiny that needs to be applied to which team plays in the college football playoffs.
So dumb.
But yeah. Hey, the New Heights podcast, the Kelsey brothers thought that Florida State were robbed. So there you go.
Well, robbed of what? Playing an actual good team for once.
But all right. I guess that's... What else do we have to cover?
Oh, I got something for you, Eddie.
All right.
It's not sports related, unfortunately.
Okay, we'll switch.
But
switch out of sports.
One of your favorites. Ye old Buzzfeed.
Oh, shit.
Headline. Get ready to get
This is going to be an important headline. I can't believe I missed this news, but please hit me with it.
This man is going viral for sharing his list of the 8 things you need to start doing once you're an adult. And as a 26-year-old teen, which I don't understand how you're a teenager at 26, I needed this reminder. This list is one of the fucking dumbest lists I've ever seen. How this went quote unquote viral is amazing. So there's 8. I'm going to group some of them together because a lot of them are like almost kind of the same thing. So number 1, I'll tell you when I'm done with the grouping. Number 1, annual doctor visit. Number 2, dentist. You should be going for at the very least 1 cleaning a year. Number 3, if you're sexually active, go get an STI, STD checkup. Number 4, vaccines. Be up on your vaccines, not just your flu shot.
Bullshit.
Number 5, PEP. If you had a risky sexual encounter and you're worried about HIV, go to the emergency room and get PEP. And that's the first 5.
Kind of the same. I mean, there's a direct overlap, right, between the STI, STD test and the are you concerned about a recent sexual encounter? That feels like it's exactly the same. I understand they're separating it as in like one is do it on a somewhat regular basis and the other is do it in case of emergency. But I mean, if you're really going down the smart health approach, right, it should be after, hey, every new sexual partner you sleep with, you should go and get tested. But, okay. I mean, yeah, those are mostly obvious. The one I would say there, when we're saying if you're an adult, so what was it when you turned 30? What age was this supposed to be from?
Well, that person said they had turned 26.
Because I don't think if you're a 23, 24-year-old and you're like, how do I get my life together and start becoming a real adult? I don't think annual checkups with the doctor are necessary.
In fact, my doctor told me I don't need annual checkups until I was about 30.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see if you're in your 20s, unless obviously you have some awareness of an actual condition that you need to be concerned about. But assuming health appears to be fine otherwise, I don't know what you're going to get really out of your annual checkup.
Well, this is where it's a bad list, because if I were to give advice and it were like that type of like health medicine related, it would be if something's wrong, go see a doctor. That would be my advice when you become an adult. Because if something doesn't seem right or something feels wrong, don't just say like it's nothing, because it might actually be something serious. So then go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why just going for an annual visit, because literally when you go to annual visits, they don't really do anything. They might take some blood and they just like, are you smoking? Are you drinking? Oh, you're fucked. Like, you know, like it's not much more.
I've never had my blood taken at an annual health checkup.
I asked for it.
Well, that's different. But that's, you know, for me, it's like blood pressure.
Yeah.
You know, like just like doing all the very basic checks that they can do. And then, asking you, how often are you exercising? Oh, does your back hurt? Or, you know, like doing checks that like, if you raise some issue with them, they might then look into it further. But fundamentally, they're not really doing much. Like you can't walk out of that and be like, I am definitely 100% healthy. Like there is no way I have cancer after that doctor looked at me. Like there is
10 seconds.
No brain tumors here. Like,
no.
I'm definitely making it to 90. But I also just think too, right? This is going to be something not everyone's going to agree with me on. The burden on health systems is enough. We don't need people just going for fucking checkups because they think. And I get what you're also saying. If you're really concerned about something, like if not because, and we have friends who do this, right? Not like my wrist hurts a little bit, I better go to the doctor and get this checked out. Sometimes you're gonna have to accept as you get older that stuff doesn't feel the same way it did when you were 18 years old.
Oh, that's different. If it's musculoskeletal, my rule is once you get to 30 and something you injure, some sort of like, you know, muscle or bone, give it 4 to 6 weeks, and then if it still hurts, then go see a doctor.
I think it depends what it is. I think 4 to 6 weeks might even be quick. Like, but yeah, no, I think.
But if there's a pain in your stomach or something like that,
for sure. If you're shitting blood, go to the doctor. Don't just assume it's gonna pass. I do agree with you. Anything that you have legitimate concerns on. But anyway, give us the rest of the list.
But I do think people like ignore that advice, and I think that is actually legitimately good advice. If something doesn't feel right, go see a doctor. At most, it costs you $40. What's the next one? Let's see. Oh, next up. Pay your rent first. Okay, so we're in a housing crisis. Your rent should be the first thing you take care of every month.
I mean, I don't subscribe to that theory, but sure.
Well, you're in a situation where you can get away with not paying rent and nothing's going to happen to you.
That's true. I haven't paid rent in 9 years. No, but yeah, it's France is a little bit different, I suppose, in terms of the security you have. I mean, yeah, that is solid advice. I mean, I don't know why we'd single out rent. You just say bills, right? Like, you get paid.
Well, again, I think if I had to give better advice on that, it would be, don't rent a place based off of like what you make on your paycheck. Make sure you account in for like all the other expenses. Like, so don't say like, oh, I make $1,500 every paycheck, like 2 paychecks a month, so I can easily get something that's like $2,000, $2,500, because people do that. And at that point, it's like, no, you need to really account for other things. So I think, what is it in France? It's like the
3 times.
3 times, yeah. That might be a little egregious, but at least I think 2 times is at least
to explain that
the
to
minimum.
people, like basically someone will not rent you an apartment unless you earn 3 times the rent.
Yeah.
So
that's a little much.
But yeah, I mean, obviously too, just basic sound advice: pay your bills first before you start spending your money elsewhere, to make sure you have all your bills covered. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious financial advice.
Yeah. Next up, I'm quoting him. I'm not saying next up. Next up, cell phones. I know we all want those new cell phones. Keep your phone as long as possible, okay? It's not the worst advice. Does that make my top 8 list? I don't know.
I do think there's a lot of people who don't have the money, who waste money on new cell phones pretty consistently. And now that cell phones are so expensive, right? Like, it's not like upgrading your phone was 10 years ago. This is a $1,000 upgrade a lot of times for people. It makes sense. But I mean, you could apply that to just everything. It could be like, you probably don't need as much new stuff as you think you do. You probably don't need that new thing. You probably don't need a new laptop. You probably don't need the new TV. You probably don't need the new pair of shoes. Like, yeah.
Hey, I have the same pair of shoes for almost a year, so I'm good on that one.
And you can make that argument for another reason, I think, which is the more important one, which is from an environmental standpoint, right? The fast fashion and the technological waste we have, that's the bigger concern, more than actually whether or not some 28-year-olds are spending too much on iPhones.
Number 8. And lastly, subscriptions. Controversial, but you only need 1 subscription a month. That one, I think he's flat out wrong. I spend about $500 a month on subscriptions.
That's these, like, get yourself a Pornhub Pro account and just never leave the house. Yeah, 1 subscription a month seems tough. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I kind of like his idea of that, is basically like, you subscribe to Netflix for a month, watch everything you want to watch on Netflix, get rid of it, go to Hulu, watch everything on Hulu. So the only thing you're really missing out on is like that instant reaction of a TV show, if it's like a big TV show, which nowadays is pretty rare nowadays anyway. So it's actually not the worst advice. It's a kind of a unique thing. I don't think I could do it, just because I get I'll watch a show on Netflix and then I'll struggle to find another show sometimes.
So, I mean, if we're limiting it to specifically streaming platforms, then, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I could only be subscribed to Netflix. It's so rare that I watch something on any of the other platforms. Like, for example, I mean, I've canceled my Apple TV subscription.
What?
Yeah, I mean,
now that Ted Lasso's over.
When Severance comes back, I'll get it again, or when there's the version of the new Band of Brothers, Masters of the Air, or whatever it's called, which I think is going to be on.
It's out. I think it's out. I put on my Apple yesterday and it was on the top screen. I don't know if that was just a preview.
Don't lie to me, Frank.
It was there. I don't know if it was just the trailer was released or something.
Because well, I mean, when that is out, Apple TV will have a 1-month subscription from me. So, I do kind of agree. And the logic too behind, if you did take that approach, is a lot of times you can obviously get those like 1-month beneficial, like it will be cheaper, even if you're churning and coming back a few months later, you might be able to get Netflix for 1 month for a reduced rate, all of that different stuff. But I mean, look, where he's a fool, because every time you get a new Apple product, you get free Apple TV for 6 months, isn't it? So if you keep changing your phone every 6 months, you never have to pay for a subscription TV service. So this guy's an idiot.
There you go.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Masters of the Air premieres January 26th. You got some time.
Yeah, fucking 2 months.
You got a month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a while. Okay, so in February, I'll have an Apple TV subscription.
Wow, what a cast too. That's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, you'd assume so. Obviously, both Band of Brothers and The Pacific were excellent. I mean, it's really in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, this is my porn. You know,
This is so Apple TV is your Pornhub.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, this is very much. There's few TV shows that once I heard they were making a new like the third iteration of this sort of not real series, right, but kind of types of group of shows. And the fact that it has been endlessly delayed with zero explanation, that it was supposed to be out in the summer, and I know the strike impacted when it was going to be released a little bit because they couldn't promote it properly, but even pre-strike it was unclear when it was coming out. But yeah, I'm all over that.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Apple TV actually.
Really?
Yeah, I watched a lot of shows on Apple TV.
I mean, I think I've watched where you and I disagree, right? You really like Slow Horses. I think it's
just came back for season 3. So good. It's such a good show.
But
you are legitimately wrong about that take, because one, you probably watched half an episode.
I think I watched 4 episodes of season 1. I think
it's really good.
And you know what? It was slow. the name.
They're 30-minute episodes.
Okay, but just the plot. I don't know. I just wasn't into it. To me, it was like too stupid to be a serious spy show, and trying to be too serious to be a stupid spy show.
I think it hits the medium pretty well.
Yeah, to me, it's like these guys are too dumb for me to believe that they're actually good spies, and then they're like too serious about the spying for me to believe that they're this dumb, and I couldn't get over that. But that's me. I know I'm in a minority here because I know it's critically acclaimed, and I know that people love it for the most part. But yeah, I'm never really gonna change my mind about Slow. Well, I mean, I'm never gonna change my mind about Slow Horses because I'm never gonna watch it again. And your reputation of recommending TV shows on this podcast is to say it's in the mud would be generous.
I think that's false. All you go back on is the Mighty Ducks. I didn't recommend the Mighty Ducks. I said, as a sports podcast, we should watch the Mighty Ducks TV show.
Yeah, sure.
It's not my fault they got real weird with Tripod.
I forgot about Tripod. Wonder how that kid's dick's doing.
So I was gonna say I have been watching Slow Horses. The new season just dropped. It's pretty good. But I did watch a very critically acclaimed movie that is on Netflix right now, The Killer. So it's David Fincher's newest movie with Michael Fassbender as a hitman or a killer. Many people put this down as I'll rephrase that. Not many people. A lot of critics put this as one of their top movies of the year, even as a number 1. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's the best thing I've seen all year. People, I think, just sometimes love to get into the weeds about the subliminal things in movies, and it makes them just blow their minds, and they kind of overreact to it a little bit. And I kind of felt that when I listened to a lot of the critic response to The Killer.
Yeah, I struggle with that sometimes in the hidden messages and stuff. My take on that usually is it really reminds me of high school English literature classes where you're analyzing pieces of work, and either I have to, when you get to that level of well, he's used this word here because it ties back into this word that was said 19 chapters ago. Either I have to, and maybe this is me being naive, I think obviously people are doing things like that a lot, but we assume every little thing we can find we think is an Easter egg or some very clever reference to well, he's wearing red because this historical event that happened. Either I have to think that these people are a level of genius that I can't even imagine in terms of when they're kind of writing something, or That's just people as readers and viewers identifying things and then putting it together. Which
reading too much into things.
Yeah, which I think is wonderful, right? If I wrote a piece of if I wrote a novel, I would hope that someone would go like, "Oh my God, can you see what he did there in terms of that was definitely like a mini allegory about the defenestration of," it's like, oh, no, I never even thought of that, but that's great. But yeah, I think I have not watched this. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Since I got back from my trip, I have watched no TV aside from sports. I have not switched. My TV has only been switched on to watch sports. I have not switched on any of the I'm not logged into any of the streaming platforms or anything. So it's I'm out of the loop when it comes to new stuff at the moment.
Well, it's on Netflix, so you can watch it. It's but I agree with you with what you're saying, and I think, but ultimately at the end of the day, I think that can add to a movie, and it can bring it up levels, but it still has to be an enjoyable and a good movie. And I think I knowing you, I think you're gonna watch The Killer, and you're gonna say like, kind of boring, I think that's kind of gonna be your read, and it is a little bit it's good. I don't know. I don't want to push your opinion too much, but for a movie that's gotten a lot of acclaim, I don't even think it's David Fincher's best movie.
I'm not a huge David Fincher fan. I think we've discussed that previously. I'm not a huge
David Fincher fan. We discussed it at a bar, but
okay. Well, weren't we recording there? But yeah, I'm not a huge David Fincher fan, but yeah, it's I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go at some point. I don't know when. Probably not this weekend.
Michael Fassbender is really good. He's a very unique actor.
Yeah, I'm not probably as big of a Michael Fassbender fan as a lot of people are.
Love him in Prometheus.
Gonna have to take a quick look now and see what are my favorite Michael Fassbender movies. I don't care about X-Men. I don't care about Assassin's Creed. Inglourious Bastards might be winning it at the moment. 12 Years a Slave. Yeah, I don't look through his IMDb and really get. He's in a Western I think I've never heard of. I gotta watch this. If Slow West. 2015. If he fucked up a Western movie for me, then I'm fully out on Michael Fassbender.
He actually is pretty good as Magneto in the X-Men movies, but I mean, they're X-Men movies, so
yeah, it doesn't count.
Hey, he's in a movie called Frank. Now I gotta go see that and make my opinion.
All right. Anything else to discuss?
I guess with that, we'll call it a day. All right, I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Yep.